Hello and welcome to the Hello OpenGL task. As previous tasks, we want to draw a red triangle again. Unlike Allegro, we will use the OpenGL library, specifically the version 3 of OpenGL, which is quite an old library, while the API for this OpenGL version is quite simple. It can't really do many complex things. Which is why we want to use it in this task. We will also be using the GLFW library. So OpenGL is purely for computer graphics. OpenGL cannot handle window handling, for example, creating a window or handling the events of the window, for example, key presses or closing the window. That's all done with GLFW, and we'll see how those two will be connected. Here we will also have to account for the aspect ratio because the coordinate space here is normalized from -1 to 1, and but the display itself is not square. So we'll have to handle the aspect ratio problem as well. And yeah, the triangle has to be in the center, as in center of the x and y coordinates. That's we give the arguments to. So here you can download the task. And if we go to the downloads and unzip it, we'll see this looks quite similar to the Allegro task. If you open with the code, you can see that actually it is quite similar, but instead of Allegro libraries, we'll use the GLFW and OpenGL. Everything else should be exactly the same, except the dependencies are also different. So let's look into the source code as well. You can see that the includes are pretty similar. Instead of Allegro, we will use the GLFW. And yeah, that will be used for the Windows. But this GLFW3 will also include the OpenGL stuff, so you don't have to include that separately. We'll also include chrono and thread. This is because we want to sleep between the buffer switches to limit the frame rate. This will make it so that the resources are not 100% in use. It saves a lot of resources. So we'll have forward declarations again. So we have triangle, throw and throw triangle. But then we also have some other functions, for example, input event callback. This is exactly the same as in Allegro, where we want to see if some events are happening, and if they are happening, we are closing the window. So in this case, if we press escape, or if we press something else, action is pressed. Oh yeah, there's only one event. We press escape and the action has to be pressed. There's also a release action, so when we take the finger off the escape button, then that will be an action. Okay, and we also have main. Here we are initializing the GLFW, and we create the window, exactly the same size window. And if the window does not exist, so this can be null, which means that this was not created, then we will exit the program early. Then there's some context stuff. We have the callback, and now we also need the renderer, and that's the OpenGL stuff. So while the Allegro is also quite low level, OpenGL is even lower. It's a very low level, as close to the GPU as is possible with legible API. And we can see that we have to get the renderer, then also a version, what the OpenGL version are supported. And then there is the event loop. You can see that we check if the window should be closed. If it is not closed, we draw a triangle. Then we sleep for 1 millisecond, and then we will poll events. So this poll events will check if we want to close the window. And finally, if the event loop closes, we terminate the glfw and we exit the program, and we return 0. And then there is drawing. You can see 2 functions again. The draw, where clear the screen to black, and then we draw a triangle, and then we will swap the buffers. And here the API is quite different for the OpenGL. So if we open the documentation, we can see how can we draw a triangle. See that we want to draw vertices. We want to do 3 vertices and GL vertex asterisk. So there are quite many different ways to draw a vertex in OpenGL, and we should use a 2-dimensional coordinate because we only have 2 dimensions. We are doing 2D graphics right now, so that should be 2F or 2D. So the GL float, you can see 2 floats, and we can use those here. But first we also have to first we have to calculate where are the corner vertices, and they should be centered around X and Y. So make sure that the X and Y are in the center of the triangle. When you have calculated the coordinate vertices, the locations of them, you can use the GL vertex 2F or 2D to draw those 3 vertices.